the productivity was increased because the time for creation was decreased.
Hey, Pictorians. I am here with Ella Cressman from Lyra Clinical. Excited to chat with her a little bit about her use of Pictury in her role at Lyra and kind of dive into how she's using it from a learning and development education perspective. But Ella, can you just introduce yourself and tell everyone a little bit about you and the company that you work for?
Yes, my name is Ella Cressman. I am a licensed esthetician and I work with the international and domestic education team for Lyra Clinical. And Lyra Clinical is a globally recognized skincare brand that has roots in professional clinical skincare applications. So we, the work that we're doing specifically is designed for professionals, and I love Pictury, but the way that we've been able to incorporate it, what we have to consider are different learning styles. And the learning style from 5 years ago today is definitely changed. It's evolved generationally. So we've had to create content that can address all of those, including the attention span that is now, which is a lot different than it used to be as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I guess brings up my first question, or a question that I'd like to ask just to expand on that. So you mentioned that the learning styles have changed a lot. I see that because my wife is a teacher, but that's obviously on the elementary education side of things. I could only imagine trying to teach a professional that has a million different things going on, their calendars going off, their cell phones texting them because, something is happening, et cetera. So can you talk about like what you guys did 5 years ago versus, what you're doing now and how Pictory is playing a role in that?
I think you kind of alluded to a few different points that are very important to professional skincare therapists, and that is availability, first of all. So previously, there was this, in our industry, this idea or this general practice that we work Tuesday through Saturday. So we would have live trainings on Mondays, and we would have webinars, short 1 hour long webinars, short 1 hour long webinars on Mondays as well. So Mondays was really designated as a training day. But now life has changed. The cadence of people's lives is different than it was 5 years ago, and people are working differently to be more available. At the same time, aesthetics as a profession has just blown up. So the consumer demand for it has increased at the same time. So we've got more practitioners, more availability for the consumer. So that means less availability on a Monday. So we've had to adjust, and those short 1 hour webinars were people were applying for them or signing up for them and then asking for the video recording, asking for the video and having more and more. So less live attendance and more requests for them to be able to watch it post. And then when we look at these all-day trainings and giving up a full day away from your business, we had to find out what are those specialized trainings that they're looking for in person, and then what does that leave the either introductory level or basic skill set stuff, or what we call product knowledge, which would be the specifics of each product. Do they want to give that time in person to those trainings, or is that something we can do virtually? So with the virtual option, we're able to deliver something more on demand rather than a webcast. And so with this on demand, the other goal is to break it down and then to add a test component to make sure that the information is comprehensive. And those are things that we've learned. I mean, I have a 20-year career in this side of it, so we've learned all the way, but this short period of time, 3 years, 5 years, has seen more change than that entire 20 years. It's very interesting. Keep us on our toes for sure.
Yeah. So obviously, they always say hindsight's 2020, and we can think about like where we came from and to where we're at right now, and with the different, I guess, set of lenses on, if you will, and look at that historically. But if a tool like Pictury hadn't fallen in your lap, let's just say, how long would it take you to take a, a long form video to create kind of a short form recap video, or kind of repurpose that for on-demand learning? Like, what would that process have looked like for you guys prior to something like Pictury being available to you?
Well, I did it. I know exactly what it looks like. I stared down that beast's face straight on. And that was a few years back. I created, we as a team created what we called fundamentals. And we had to create these presentations in PowerPoint. And we did in PowerPoint so we can add text and we can add visuals to it, because we have to attach to the different learning styles inside of those presentations too. Even though they're on demand, we have to make someone feel it. We have to make someone imagine what it smells like in those presentations, the visuals or different, word cues. So I did it, and it took a long time. It's extensive. We have to go look for the collateral in these different like photo stock type places, look for the videos, download the videos, upload them into or embed them into the PowerPoint, and then record a voiceover. That took a lot longer. And then we had to convert it into a video and then upload. So that's cumbersome. So the benefit of something like Pictury, it was almost like, are you kidding me? No, let me get this straight. No, I have to understand. So I had a base of what it took for these short on demands. A 3-minute video could take 3+ hours to create before. The benefit of what we had now is stumbling upon Pictury, inserting the script and generating the video it wasn't perfect for what we needed, but it was so perfectly jump-started. And so we can adjust and tweak from that.
Yeah. And it gives you that starting point, right? I was talking to a friend of mine earlier today, and I kind of equated it to when you have writer's block and you're staring at that, blinking cursor, right? And you're like, how do I get started? How do I get started? Well, you have a lot of training material that's written out, so now you can simply plug that in, right? And get, maybe 75% of the way, 80% of the way there, change out some of the, the imagery, for your own, make it a little bit more dynamic. And now something that would have taken you, 3 hours previously, it probably takes you less than 30 minutes, I'm assuming, has really saved your time, your energy, probably just your overwhelmingly increased your well-being as a person, because you're trying to pull your hair out and doing these things. So, I think that is super powerful when you think about something like this. Is you don't have to now go storyboard something out, figure out how you're going to put it all together. You kind of get started, and then to use the saying that they say in startup world, you build the plane as you're flying it, right? You start something, and then you get half the way, or 75% of the way there, and then you start to kind of massage it. So would that be, I guess, an accurate representation of your experience so far?
Absolutely. It increased, most importantly, productivity. The other part that is nice is, as humans, and with bosses, we have an authority that has to review and approve. So the productivity was increased because the time for creation was decreased. And with anything, there are tweaks, and the tweaks are so easy with Pictury. The tweaks are it might be, like you said, staring at that blank cursor, like, where do you even begin? But it might be, oh, I don't even want this picture, or I don't want this video that they had, but I know exactly what I want now. So it helps to refine it. And then, having the overseers, having the overseers say, can we switch this or that? And it was a lot easier and a lot shorter time, even for video conversion.
Yeah. Yeah. So are you primarily using the script to video experience then so far? Is that what you guys have been using from Pictury's standpoint at Lyra?
So far, we're excited. I mean, we have a lot of education opportunities or creation opportunities coming up, because as an ever evolving industry, things change. And as a company who stays leading edge, ahead of cutting edge, we have to be ahead of those changes. So we have a lot of opportunity. We have our basic, what would be a fundamental course done now. And that was fun. It was a great learning experience. And I also have to add that when we started creation in November to when we posted or were ready to publish in January, there has also been a lot of advancements on Pictury side. It seems like that technology or some of the features have increased. So we feel like we've grown with you a little bit on that and excited about those capabilities. What was the original question? I'm sorry, Marc.
Oh, we were just talking. We were just talking about the current use case, which is script to video, I believe.
Oh, script to video. To answer your question, yes, script to video is primarily how we're using it, but we're actually really excited to see what else is coming because of those changes we've already seen just using those different features.
Yeah. Well, obviously, for some of the stuff that you talked about with any of the existing content, we have the ability to take a long form video and turn that into like short form content. I was actually just doing that before we hopped on here. Taken a 70-minute video and quickly cut it down to a 2-minute video, and just extracted the pieces of that longer video that I wanted to do without having to listen for verbal cues. I could just simply say, I know when the person that's speaking, I know when they started talking and I know what they said, so I can highlight that and then highlight it to the end and then just essentially extract just that piece of the original video that I have. So it's awesome that you guys are finding so much value with just the script to video, and you haven't really even touched, the other components of what's possible with this tool.
That actually would be super helpful with all of our demo videos that we do, Ella.
Absolutely. Do you anticipate with this video creation option with the demo videos that could change productivity for that as well?
Oh, absolutely. I think it would give us a lot more opportunity to be able to even, if we need to go to corporate, if we need to have somebody else actually film it and then have the ability to cut it and edit it that quickly would be ideal.
Lots of possibilities, Marc.
Exactly. With the AI, there's a couple different ways you can do it. You could upload that, 15, 20-minute video and then ask the AI to say, give me the best, or basically give me the 5-minute summary. And it's just going to essentially extract the 5 minutes that gives you the best representation of what that entire video is about. So with one click of a mouse, you can turn that 15, 20-minute video into a 5-minute or a 3-minute video. If you wanted to have a little bit more control over it, you simply would just highlight some of the sections of text to say, actually, this is a really key part that I need these people to understand, so I'm going to add that in. But it's not like the traditional experience where you put it into something like Final Cut or Premiere, and then, you've got your headphones on and you're listening, and then, your kid or your dog or something runs into the room and distracts you, and you're like, oh man, I got to go back and figure out where that started. So it just gives you the ability, like you said, Ella, it increases your productivity because it allows you to do things that you're just so used to doing already, which is editing text, right? You're just finding things in text. You can do find and replace, things of that nature that we're all just so used to doing. And something that we were taught from, the very early age, when you were first taught computers or keyboard or whatever it was initially. So, I think that is one of
I took keyboarding. I took typewriting.
I'm thinking, I remember the college class, CIS 118, and like, yeah.
So yeah, that's another element to what we do. And I'm just so excited to watch what you guys continue to use Pictury for, and just how you continue to get value out of it, especially in the roles that you hold at a company that you're trying to teach people about multiple products. It's not just one product, and I think you mentioned something very, very early on in our conversation, Ella, is people's learning style has changed. And instead of trying to get people to learn the way that we want them to learn, or learn the way that we have this content already created, oh, great, read this 20-page document and learn all the things that you need to learn from it. Me, myself, I can watch a 2-minute video and I will retain the entire thing. You ask me to read a book, it's going to take me 4 times to read that book before I retain the same amount of stuff. So we all learn differently. And I think that is something that is really important, an important takeaway, out of this entire conversation.
Absolutely. It's cool to have the tool of Pictury for that. And I'm sure that different features will be refined going forward, and we're happy to give our opinion on that, right, Tiffany?
Yes.
And we have no problem giving our opinion. Mm-hmm. And suggestions, but they're the potential to work with you as you refine that for learning development programs, which is what we do, and ours is ever evolving. I think it's a really essential tool for companies that have those types of programs. It's a very user-friendly program. It's incredibly easy to get to and adjust and tweak. It's not a cumbersome program to learn either. So for my learning style, which is chaotic because I've got a lot of things going on, it was so easy to, it was almost like I mentioned earlier. Are you sure? It was a pinch me. Are you sure? Are you sure it's this easy? And we did find different features. Oh, did you find this? Our branding changed in the middle. That branding feature changed in the middle, which was cool to see. So we had to go back and insert it, but it wasn't hard. It wasn't hard to change it back for the previous videos that we had done, or to make them all similar. So it's really neat. And the voiceovers are cool. Some of the pronunciation, but that's just going to happen. We have specific words.
Yes, which is something that we're always trying to address, right? Because there are, especially in the medical field, there are some, well, let's just call them interesting words, to try to say and pronounce. So definitely something that we're always trying to figure out is, how do we make that experience better? How do you indicate, like, how could you specifically go into Pictory and say, phonetically, this is how you say this word, and it would essentially train. So those are all these things that we're trying to figure out, and love your guys' feedback on that as we, work through that, because you do probably have more of those situations than the average person that comes up that is going to have a problem with the pronunciation element to some of those words.
I think what it was, I want to say it was, they said rosacea. Really funky.
Rosacea and melanin.
There you go.
Melanin. So we just put him in a British voice. We're like, cute. You sound super. It sounds great in a foreign accent. Let's do it. So if there's a possibility to get more Australian accents, that would be really good. Even Indian, like Middle Eastern, would be cool to have some of those types. But we used a lot of different ones. Some of them were fun to pick the voices because it was the theme of the video be one thing, but then the voice sounded like an old Western voiceover, or like funny. It was great. And the you know what, Mark? I forgot to mention this. We would go get the videos, we'd go get the pictures, we'd go get the music. So we had to get the music also, and then we would record. So we had all those different places to pull from, and to listen through each one of those places. So having them in one was like awesome. Just one place to pick and select it. We didn't have to download it and see how it flowed, how the music fit with the visual. We could apply it, watch it. Let's see how the voiceover, apply it, watch it. Does it fit with the video? So some, we added our voiceover because it just didn't fit to have an AI voiceover. And some songs, they didn't sound appropriate. They sounded very much like an adult, Orna.
Yes.
Yeah. And when they touched that video, I was like, oh, I see where that would be better for a vlog, like for a podcast, but it's not good for this. So it was instant. We didn't have to go back. We weren't married to it. So it was a nice preview option.
Awesome. Yeah, this is all amazing feedback, for us to get because, yeah, what you said about the voices just made me think about someone that is trying to create a piece of content that is going to be engaging. Like, I don't know if it's the same for you guys, but when I hear someone speaking in another language, or with a different accent, more specifically, like for me, it's a little bit more engaging. So like for you to go out and hire a voice talent to do that, to record that would cost a lot of money, would take a lot of time to have that. And then when you're talking about voice talents, they're always going to have to record and re-record because they need to get the emphasis just right, or, whatever they want to do, or they're like, hey, let's do another take, blah, blah, blah. With this, you just put the script in and then you choose the voice. I want this Australian male to read this. And then it's, it applies it and now it's done. Or that British accent, like you said. So I think it just gives you so much more in the way of your toolkit that allows you to create that engaging video, or that video that's going to hold people's attention without having to go out and spend a ton of extra time and money to do that. When you can simply just, I want to create one in English and with an English accent, and I want to create one that has a British accent, and then you do it. And it takes you just as long to create 2 videos as it does to create one, because it's just a simple change on the back end, from a different voice talent. So, yeah, something I hadn't even really thought about until you brought that up.
Oh, Ella and I know about re-recording. Nope. Pause too long. Re-record.
Said that word enough.
Re-record.
Yeah.
You said
Okay, let me start over.
Liberty.
Yeah.
No, this is really awesome, and I love that you guys are using it and are finding so much value out of it. And we just appreciate that you're so open to provide us that feedback, because one of the things that our CEO always talks about is we're not building a product in a vacuum. We're building a product to serve the needs of our users. So we want to know what's going to make this product better. So please continue giving us that feedback. I know that you will. And if there's anything that we can do to show you around the product, or, answer any questions for you about the video summarization, obviously we are here to support and make sure that you guys are continuing to find success with the product.